welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast where we try to figure it all out. With your hosts, Brandon and Collin. On this week's show, Rat King of Coax. Ahoy!
Ahoy!
How's it going?
Oh, all right, I guess. How are you?
Yes, it is. It is, what day is it? Thursday, yes.
It is, in fact, Thursday.
It's big day. Big day.
Big Thursday.
Big Thursday, monumental Thursday. Today is a day of new beginnings and of laying aside the past and embracing the future.
What? Sounds very ominous.
I changed out my headphone cushions today and have a new set on right now that I'm wearing.
Oh, the gasp. However, shall you cope with such a development?
I felt weighty. I was like, oh wow, these are the headphone cushions that came with my. I'm still wearing the headphones themselves. The cushions are just completely blitzed after 5 years of all the recording and all the hours over my head. And so I they were like kind of like a faux leather, and they were always really hot. And but they were great over ears, not on ears, but like over like studio monitors. Great, I love them, but the past 6 months have been like flaking off, and so as soon as I'm done recording, I have like black flecks of this stuff in my hair. And then they start to separate, and the foam was actually visible when I was wearing these. And so finally I was like, okay, it is time for me to do something different. So I went online, did some Googling, and not only did I replace these, but upgrade, baby. I found one.
Who knew?
Who knew that you could get these? They are perforated, so they are not supposed to be quite as hot. And I am very much looking forward to this. So this is the first recording in these, and I will try and keep you abreast of how my ear temperature is going. So I don't find I have a problem with along my head. No, I'm kidding.
Heat in the ear. Well, I don't really know. I guess after I sit in here long enough, the room just starts getting warm. But I figure that's just because I'm here with the light on,
right?
Because so I don't really know. I don't know because I wear mine all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't really know if I don't really pay attention to this kind of thing. But I also do I'm a very chronic, I do the pull it back. So I just have it on one ear thing a lot of times.
Oh, sure.
Not when I'm recording this usually, because I like to have it both on. But when I'm just listening and using it for other things, I'm a very just whoosh, one ear, blah. So that maybe, I don't know. Well, I'm excited for you on this new journey of perforated ear coverings.
So if I seem off, it's the head cushions.
Okay, it's the adjustment period, right?
I'm still getting used to it. It's a new equilibrium in my life. I'm unsure.
Fair.
My head feels light and airy and feels so.
There you go.
So those came in, and what really kicked all this off was I was having a little bit of congestion the other day, and Megan and I were recording a podcast together, and her headphones that she was using were they were our very, very, very first pair, and then I quickly converted over to ones I use now, and we kept those on for a second one. And I was basically yelling in the microphone, and those other headphones were are really sensitive, and they boost everything, and you can't turn it down enough to make it manageable. And finally I was turning it all the way down. I was like, I can't even hear myself. And she was like, are you kidding me? So we switched headphones and I put these on that I have literally not had on my head in 4.5 years, maybe. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is unbearable.
I am so sorry. I didn't know.
Okay. Well, now I feel bad. And so I was like, well, I need to buy a replacement. I'm just going to get you the same ones that I have. Because she was like, oh, well, these are really nice. And I was like, I know. I know. And so I was on there and I was like, if I'm getting another headphone set, I just need to go for the head cushion, the cushions. And I did those. So I didn't know that you could replace them until I saw those. So I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
neat.
I'm not going to take mine off currently to look at them, but like, I don't know if these even come off. I mean, I guess they might, but like, these aren't like I don't know. They're not like the fanciest ones ever. They're just like kind of okay. So like, I don't know. I don't even know if mine are removable. I've never actually thought about this problem before.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. I mean,
I just sent you a picture of what I was using and then what I changed to, and you can see just how horrible the old ones were.
Yeah, that's basically gone. This looks like the foam that all that you can see is foam, and it looks like foam that should be on like a Sony Walkman on-ear headphone, right? That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like those weird things that came with the Walkman. That's what it looks like. I don't know.
Interestingly, these are Sony headphones. So
there you go.
Not Walkman headphones, but yes,
okay.
You could see like they had completely busted out from the middle, and it was just the foam and nothing around them. So they actually felt really nice because they were very light on my head. Like there was space galore, but they don't look nice, and I was tired of getting black flecks on my face. So I changed them, and you can see the ones on the right. They got little holes in them. So
yeah.
See, I don't know about these, but
there you go. Kablam.
I did take a few minutes to see if I could get different colors, because I was like always looking to add more color to the life here, and recording and audio equipment is pretty much just like it's black.
It's black. That's true.
It's just
silver.
Silver. Yeah. Could get some silver in there, but like, no, nobody has come out and made like fuchsia. I was like, I would have paid.
I feel like this is a missed opportunity.
Yes.
They're like, why is that not a thing? On a completely unrelated note, stay tuned for the Oh Brother color the headphone option coming soon.
Yes. Yeah. Now, truthfully, did I do like a super deep dive in this? No, but I was on Amazon, and I figured like they should be somewhat accessible anyway. No, so
yeah,
No, I did not find color upgrade options for headphone cushions.
Okay, yeah, that's our product here. We found an opening in the market, Collin. We have to pounce on this. And
the thing is that you can get like crazy headphones, like the gamer headphones and like the DJ headphones and that stuff. I just want to take the black headphone cushions and I just want to make them green. Like, can I just make them green? Like, that's all I want. I want the
oh yeah,
right. That's why. Why would you not do that? Why would you not have like they're the same like high quality studio? These are ridiculous. I don't know why. Like, I don't need these, but these are Sony MDR 7506. They even say professional on them, and it's like that's what I want. But I just want to like purple. Come on. Why is that bad? It's not
to cite a fighter here or anything, but I do love my Sennheiser headphones an awful lot. Hashtag not sponsored, but hey, Sennheiser.
The Sennheisers. I looked. I think I know which ones you have.
Because I believe we talked about this because I broke my other ones.
Yes.
It was a sad day. I had a pair of Sennheisers forever. Like the old, like they were like weird kind of, but they were like on ear kind of. And they were fantastic. And I had them for a billion years. And when they broke, I was so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used my replacement Audio Technicas that I had. I think you bought them for me. Like when I was in high school. And so they lasted like a bazillion years.
Yeah.
And then they disintegrated. And so I was like, okay, well, yeah, this is they just like stop working. They're just like, nope. we're just done now.
Oh my
After
gosh.
like 15 years, we cannot continue. We fought the good fight, but we cannot.
Wow. Yeah, I think because I've seen the Sennheisers that you have, and I did look into those. They are good.
I think they're very comfortable.
Yeah, super comfortable. I know Sennheisers are also, they're really well known for the open back.
Oh yeah, I don't have any of that stuff. I didn't know.
No, I have no need for that either. And also that's like one of the last things you want to do when recording a podcast is
I think that would be awful. Like
it's like, oh, I brought the speakers even closer to the microphone than they were before.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah, rock on.
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh no.
I think I'm doing this all wrong. So
maybe.
So yeah, we made that's so upgrades all around here. Stuff and things. Had some headphone cushions.
Very good. Well, I may have misrepresented my situation slightly when I said it's going, because actually it's kind of stopped. Yeah, it's everything has stopped here. So we are officially on a wellness break at school because so many people have stomach flu and other flu type situations that we've canceled school for tomorrow and canceled the professional development day on Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Surprise 4-day weekend, baby. Like,
what?
A lot of the schools around us are like, everybody has flu. And it's like gnarly flu. Like, this flu is like gross flu. Like, it's not pleasant. And like, a lot of it's like the stomach bug, right? But instead of the way that the school nurse sort of described it is that, the like traditional kind of like 24-hour stomach flu bug thing like that. Yeah, no, it's like 48 to 72 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So I've had people gone. We've had like the other day we had like a fourth of the 6th grade was gone. Granted, we don't have just like tons of children because it's a very small school, but like
statistically,
a fourth of my class, like the 6th grade, was not at school.
And
this happened like several days in a row, and it was like different. It was like switching kids, right? But it was like still the same basic percentage was quite low, and so. That coupled with, we also have a lot, I think today we had a lot of teachers absent as well. So it's like double whammy, got the big double whammy of students and teachers not at school. So that's a fun time. So yeah, we've actually sort of stopped currently. So
and these aren't
for me tomorrow.
and I'm guessing these are also not like home learning days either.
No, like this is not. This is not going to be classified as a home learning day. Nope, just outski. And we are definitely not the first school in the area that's done this. In the last couple weeks, right? There was several other schools in the vicinity have like in the past few weeks been like, yeah, no, we're just no school Friday. See you later. Like,
wow.
Like, oh no.
That's great. Like okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrifying. Okay.
Yeah. So that's fun and exciting. So
that's
where we are.
What do you do with your sudden like?
Yeah, I don't know.
4-day weekend.
Yeah, a little surprise. Like, oh, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Not a lot, probably, but
yeah,
because I didn't have anything planned. Because like,
sure,
I was planning on going to work and talking about weather. So like we
Right.
that's what we puts a big kink in our. I told the kids, I was like, all right, we're gonna have to restructure next week because I told them all because we were supposed to be out like again, they were supposed to be out of school Monday anyway. So like we had kind of gone over the plan and talked. We have a presentation coming up, right? And we're talking about when their quiz was going to be and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, time out. We need to talk. Gotta move some things around here. So yeah, we're gonna.
I can't. Like, we've heard people who have been like, oh, so like so and so is sick, or people at our church were like, oh, okay, yeah, they're sick, or they're not going to be here this week, and that kind of stuff. But I didn't know it's hitting. Well, okay, load up on that vitamin C there,
and like, and some of our kids, right? They had this thing where like the fever went away. You know, they maybe had like a fever or whatever, and that went away, but like, so the fever was down or maybe broken, but their stomach was not like prepared, right? It was just like, oh no, because we had a couple kids who like they came back for a day and they were like, no, just kidding. I actually still feel terrible, so I'm gonna be gone.
Oh,
I had one kid. They came back. And then, like after lunch, they're like, actually, no, this didn't, yeah, because I was kind of figured like, hey, maybe if you have a stomach illness and you come to school on pizza day, maybe that's not a good combo, right? Like, I feel like something's gone wrong there, right? When your lunch choices are pizza or chicken strips. Feel like the stomach that's been sick is not really ready to rock that.
No, that's not a good choice there.
Neither of those greasy food options is really just what you need in your life. So not helping people get over their stomach illness, right? So,
yeah, it's just gonna get real good stomach coating,
yeah,
just get it all in there and everything. Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty rough, which has been rough because we're doing like big projects this week, and so it's been kind of stressful. But like, okay, who's gone today? Oh, dang it. Okay, who's gone here? Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Okay, where is this person at? Like, so there's gonna be definitely like a couple people for when we're doing our presentations, right? Like, because we're gonna do that next Wednesday now, right? So like, it's gonna be kind of like, okay, well, just join a group, just see if your friends will take you, and just like help them, and you can just like, you know what I mean, like because you're gonna come back and we're gonna present. So it's like, well, I don't want to make you do this whole thing yourself because it's like a whole do an experiment in front of the class thing and blah blah. So like,
oh sure,
help them, just get over.
yeah, that's quite a lot to just say. Okay, you do this, and hopefully you'll have some help. Maybe, like,
that's So it's like, but I also want to. I'm not really. I don't feel just great about like, because like sometimes if they're still gone, I'll give them like an alternate assignment, right? I'll give them something different to do, obviously. But like, I don't really like sending them home stuff when they're sick, right? Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, if they have work, you can send it home with their sibling, like. Yeah, bro, they're sick. Like, I don't like. Yeah, don't worry about it. They can do it later. Like, it's fine. I don't. They can take it home later on. I'm not gonna send it home when they're like ill and like trying to make them do stuff when they're not feeling good. What's the point of that, right? Like, do it later. For anybody. Sure. No, they can. Plus, I'll need to talk to them about what it is anyway, and like help explain stuff. So, like, just we'll get you later. Don't worry about it. But I have had several people like, hey, you can send it home with their sibling. Like, nah, it's fine. No.
Nope.
No offense, but I'd rather not like do that and get. So that's the That's the big goings on here. Actually, yeah, we've actually stopped. And yeah, saying that big thing, right? They're like, hey, yeah, stay home, get well, don't go do stuff. All like everything is canceled. Like homecoming is canceled. Like that's where we're at because that's supposed to be tomorrow. Right? They like so many like high schoolers and like half the basketball team is sick anyway. So like,
yeah, not really going to be much for that, right? And
yeah. So yeah, I've heard that they've been like mega ill. So, and of course, because they're teenage boys, they're like still trying to come to practice. Like, guys, this is not. What are you doing? Stop it! No. so yeah, that's a big bummer probably for some people, but yeah. So homecoming, Tuesday homecoming, surprise.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, hey,
better late than never, and also hopefully everyone's feeling well.
True. But yeah, they've been canceling like they just send out because we're just such a small school, right? They just send out emails to like everybody, right? Blah. And so like this week and some of last week, I just will randomly get an email through the day like, hey, the basketball game this evening is canceled because the other team is all sick and like,
oh jeez,
like this other school had to cancel. Like we've canceled like several ball games, like 4, 5 maybe, like because either our team or their team are sick. So it's like, good, yay. This is
yeah. Like, well, not much for it, so we'll just enjoy this time.
Yeah, like we got the 2 healthy basketball players, so yes, no games. Thank you.
It's just gonna be a 1-on-1 game today. Everyone's putting forward.
Oh yeah, we could play like 3-on-3 ball. That would be exciting.
See, that's what you need.
That would be fun, right? This one doesn't count. We're just gonna play for funsies. You guys can. Can you imagine how mad parents would be if that happened? Like, because parents already take basketball like way too seriously, so they would be super grumpy about that.
What? Surely not. Great.
Yeah, it's been wild. Like, oh my god. So yeah, I'm glad that hopefully we can get this out of here and stay away from Kansas. Also, I don't know if you've heard about this. Don't go to Kansas.
Well, I mean, I do that on a normal, but why? What did they do?
Oh, have you not heard about the tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas?
Okay, yeah.
Don't go to Kansas.
Okay. Doc Holliday wants his.
Yeah, right. What the heck?
He would like a word. Oh man.
It's there's a wacky one for you. Not expecting that to happen. So
no one expects the.
Yeah. So.
Man, what an awesome time that we live in.
Yeah, that's what it is. Awesome.
Could be.
Hooray.
Could be. I don't know.
Good gravy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, and then there's that. Yeah. I was trying to think. Moving on.
Somewhere John Green is very upset. Okay. He's very mad about this.
He's very not okay.
And he should be. Should be mad. I'm with you, John. I'm grumpy. And in 2025, we have to hear the words tuberculosis outbreak. What the?
Tuberculosis. Yeah, man.
I would fully accept this in 1825. Okay. Like, I'd be like, okay, it's a thing that happens. Not in 2025. Come on.
Not there. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, Week was going okay, right? Just doing some weather talk. It's very nice doing weather science this time of year because you can be like whatever you're talking, like half the things you're talking about, you can be like, oh look, there it is, right outside, right now.
Exactly.
You'd be like, oh, today we're talking about weather fronts. Be like, hey guys, you know what happens when there's an occluded front moving through an area?
Oh,
look out the window. Ta-da!
Look over
Nailed
there.
It.
Yeah.
I pulled up the surface weather map for this morning. I was like, look, all the things we just talked about right here in your neck of the woods. Kablam. Like literally everything we discussed. Literally. I have a fake weather map that I showed them and they have to identify the parts of. I was like, hey, you're never going to believe this. Here's a real weather map from this morning. Kablam, with all of the parts that we just discussed right here.
Isn't that a doozy, right?
It was very handy, right? Incredibly handy, right? Yay. So that's
well, having it right on hand is able to. That's nice. I like that. Yeah. Well, at least they get some firsthand knowledge, experience too. So it's not just all not just theoretical weather stuff. That real weather that you can look at. That's what you need.
I mean, it was raining, so we couldn't go outside to look at it, but it was there.
Well,
we just opened the window.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Look, here it is. Amazing.
I found it.
Yeah.
And stuffs. Oh, the weather. It's been warming up, but we've still been hanging inside quite a bit. I undertook an interesting. I decided I wanted to rearrange all of our Wi-Fi equipment and stuff. It was down in the basement, but I was having some connectivity issues. I have been really trying to put off upgrading and getting a new Wi-Fi thing. It's like coming up on 7 years old, and I'm like, just please.
It's annoying,
it's fine,
right?
It's fine. So I'm rearranged our entire system, and and of course, it is one of those projects where it's like, okay, I just need to move these things from here into this little space.
Oh, that's not how this works, though.
Right?
We know because
first, you have to prepare the way. It's like, okay, well, I know where they're going, so I have to make that area proper for this. So sure, it's like the TV stand. It's under the TV stand. So I've got to take everything off. I'm dusting, and then I'm moving it, and I'm like, oh man, okay, now I got to clean underneath the TV stand because that's not a place that I clean on a, ever. And so I'm under the stand, against the floor, as I'm like, oh, I got to clean that. I'm moving that, and then I realized that the place that I wanted to move it. But back when we first moved in and we had the cable guy come in, and not that we have cable, but the internet guy come in.
Yeah.
This house was wired to within an inch of its life to have coax cable into every room. Okay,
so a super handy cable that you need all the wait.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is great if and again, literally every room had a cable going to it because everybody obviously wanted TV 20 years ago when they did this big renovation for this home. But what happens then is that actually degrades the signal, and it means that no one of those is a strong signal because there's so many connections,
so many feet of wire.
And just fasteners and extensions and it would run into this pegboard, and then there was 17 connections coming off of that. No, it's a rat's nest in the basement, and it does make me cringe literally every time I look at it. And I'm like, I want to rip all of these down, and I would anyway. It's a thing.
And I came one step closer today.
I really did.
Just that.
I really did. But then I realized that, the cable that goes, at first I was just going to, my plan was, because I had a drop where I was going to stick an Ethernet cable, and I was going to have the modem in the basement because it can just be in the basement. But then I was going to run an Ethernet cable through the floor joists, up a wall, and like to a drop that I could get to.
Okay.
And I was like, well, why would I? The only long Ethernet cable that I actually have is actually not as speedy as the one that's there now because it's short, and I just bought that one. I don't have to buy 20 feet of Ethernet cable.
No,
why
not
don't
really, no.
if there's a coax cable here, let me just use the coax. Well, then I realized that I had disconnected all of these things from this rat's nest of coax because the guy had said that it degrades the thing. So I had actually gotten rid of everything, and I just had it came from the outside directly into my modem, and then from there it did Wi-Fi, right? And there was no other connections. It was beautiful. Oh, it was wonderful. But I had to lean onto my rat's nest, and I had to undo.
Oh no.
So then I had to find the one cable that went up to the room that I needed, trace it through my 100-year-old floor joists, and find it. And I was like getting this little splitter and all this stuff. Oh.
This does not sound very fun and exciting. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is not just like
no. This of course, like I texted Megan before. I was like, hey, I'm just gonna do this. It won't take that long. It'll be totally fine. Well, like an hour.
Famous last words. Yeah,
an hour and a half later, and then of course I'm like, because now I've got a new arrangement. All the items are like, well, the lengths of the Ethernet cord that I used before are now not really appropriate for this new situation. So I need to reevaluate all the Ethernet cable lengths to make sure. Just like, what am I doing with my life? I got them all set up and everything taken care of. And then because I touched it, right, this thing had sat unbothered for 4 years, like not even messed with. It just was down there chugging away because I messed with
now
it.
It's all wonky, right?
Well, I use a thing called Plex to distribute digital copies of things that I have, and it acts as a little media server. Okay. And it runs on a little tiny server box. Well, all of a sudden it just completely stopped operating and would not stay on. And it would say like manually shut off. I'm going all down these. Brandon, I was in Reddit threads.
Oh no.
I was in Reddit threads, and that's never a place that you want to find yourself. And people, if you find yourself in a Reddit thread and you're going to a second Reddit thread, you're in trouble.
That could be problematic.
What I did summarize was basically that it because at some point there was an update, but because the IP and everything was completely stable, it didn't trip anything. But other people several weeks ago had been reporting a problem. But I didn't know that because I didn't have a problem, so I didn't go there. But now that I was there, this was a problem that was brewing and percolating. And what did they say? They said, whatever you do, don't turn it off until you've done this patch.
Uh-oh.
So after having turned it off, obviously.
Obviously.
Because I had to move it. I'm left. And the only thing that I could do, the only remedy was I had to burn. I could keep the media files, but I had to burn down the Plex and start from ground zero.
Oh, no.
So all of the watch history, all of my stars, all of the like categories that I had put on things, all of that gone.
Oh wow.
And there are some things in there that it's like where that Plex doesn't know how to handle. And so I had gone in and had very like carefully done the title. You can do this matching thing of like, you just manually tell it. You say, this file is this thing. I know you don't believe me, but it is.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
do it.
Yeah. So we had Megan loves Lost, and we actually had the DVDs of Lost. And so I had made copies of those for a digital backup, right? That's what you do. And so we have those. And Plex came back online, it was like, you mean the Four Seasons of the Blood Lost Ant? It was like, it thought this was something like totally weird. And I was like, nope, it's lost. And lots of things like that. So that's also now like, that's a project now that I've given myself for the rest of the year.
Because you'll find one thing and be like,
find the one.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't like I had done all of that immediately in the first place, right? That took me a year or two to like flush it all out. And sometimes we'll do a random like, I know you said this, but I think it's like, no, stop it. Put it back. Put it back.
Get back in the box. That's not what we're talking about. Get back.
And also for some movies, it's like, oh, well, I actually need to convert this to a different format because it plays better. All that's gone. All the optimized versions are gone. It's gone. And, and I was just like, I had to futz with it. That's what I had. I just had to, let me just see if I can make this just a little bit better. And now I'm staring at it and I've got a tab pulled over here and I'm looking at this.
Oh no.
Just leave things alone. It's just leave it.
Oh.
But anyway, so that's what I did this week. That was also fun. my last fun bit. Yep.
That's not fun at all.
Not literally, not even a little bit.
Yeah. Ugh. Right. Well, I have a smaller toe into the world of World War I black and death metal, if you're interested.
Oh, yes. Yep. I need an update on this. I tried to explain this to Megan, and she was, well, anyway.
Yeah. Not sounds enthused. Awesome. Yeah. Right? Obviously. So I didn't get a chance to listen to as much of this band. They have like a couple albums, maybe. If I did listen to like the first one, I would be interested in listening to I may listen to the newest one because like, just to see if it's any different. But I found this band called Cannon Fava, right? I'll send you the spelling of that. It's German, obviously.
Yeah. Wasn't even trying.
It means like cannon frenzy, kind of like shell shock is what it means, right?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right, it's like the German version. So this band is particularly interesting because it's a dude. Right? Like, there's like a person, it seems. It's just like a guy who is like they just like the internet I guess he goes by the name Noise. Like he's just like an anonymous dude that's done this band. Like he performs with people, right? There's like people from other bands that he performs with the live show, I guess, allegedly, but like they just wear masks, so it's literally just like an anonymous band kind of. So that's kind of cool. So the fact that it's like mostly, you can definitely tell it's mostly one guy, because kind of in the middle of the album I was listening to, it just kind of starts getting like there's a lot of sameness happening, right? There's some pretty cool like riffs and stuff, but like there is a lot of sameness, right? He is also German and sings in German. So like, I can't, I have no real thoughts on the lyrics because like they're in German. They sound cool, I guess.
You know what? Right? Sounding cool is half the battle.
Yeah. Allegedly, according to the Wikipedia article, now who knows if that's actually true, but he was inspired to kind of start this project after reading some diaries from his great grandfather, who was in World War I, right? So that's kind of his like starting point, right? It is similar to 1914 in that it's like very like they do the thing where they use like a lot of like sound clips and like other stuff to like bolster the thing, and it is a lot like it's very like it's a lot slower, right? It's very like doomy, like slow not like just like straight ahead blast beat death metal all the time, which is like, I don't like that. So this is better because it's like more like sludgy almost, right? It's like a slower, riffier. There is like heavy blast beaty influences in there, but like it's like a groovier type situation, right? So it's pretty cool. It's not bad. Not bad. It's definitely like it starts to sound kind of samey in the middle, right? Through the middle. It's kind of like, didn't I hear this already? What's going on? Right. Again, this is an outsider's perspective. I'm not this type of metal enthusiast. Okay.
Sure.
So, but like, it wasn't too bad, right? It's not too bad. So that was that's what I listened to this week.
I like
this guy, right? And his band here. Let's see if I can actually spell this and get it. I'll just send you this. I'll just link this thing.
That better, works
actually. So yeah, this is what it was. So yeah, I did find another band, right, that I was gonna try to listen to, but then I read a Reddit article about them, and it was like, yeah, no, these guys are okay with Nazis, and I was like, nope, not gonna talk about them.
Well,
not them. Nope.
Turns out
that's not cool. We don't like that. So this one's better.
Okay.
You gotta be a little careful, right? People like getting all excited about like
no Nazi.
Weird.
This is the
gotta make sure.
Oh brother, no Nazi guarantee.
Yeah, so I make sure we know this. Yeah, this is officially stamped, right? No Nazis allowed. All right, this is what we got to remember. It's no good, bad, right? No bueno. No. So yes, okay, I found it. All right, I'm just gonna see this. I just screenshotted the page.
No, okay.
No, this is important. It's important to know, right? It's important for listeners to know that Nazis are not welcome here. This is,
I mean, yes, it is.
Remember?
Yeah, I was not going to get that.
It's spelled in German, so it's like what?
Yep. Collin Bible.
Yeah, so that's what I did this week. Also, listen to some of that.
I like it.
While cooking? ? Like that's kind of just listen to a little death metal while making pizza crust.
Sure.
That's just what you do, right? It's just a little casual.
Why not? That's what all the cool kids are doing.
Yeah, I guess. So there you go. There's this week's metal band here. We'll continue the Nazi screening process and get those out of there, and then see if we have any other ones for next week. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, speaking of no Nazis mentioned.
That's true.
So far.
Well, I mean, a little early, but yes.
A little early.
I did the thing again where I forgot to mark where I started because I'm a numpty. And only ever remembered to put the bookmark in the end of the thing.
Yes. Well, I am reading on a e-reader and I forgot to tab all the way back. It's a lot of button presses. I could slide it, true, but I don't want to do that.
I think it was 13, right? Did we say, is that where we started? This is a professional show, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, in case you are new here.
Wait, was it 13? No,
that's wrong.
That's last time. It should be 19. Yeah. 19, yes.
19.
Yes. I was going to say, I was like, Well,
I just flipped to chapter 13. I was like, no, that's wrong. That's very wrong.
Yeah, this is these next chapters, if I had to summarize these in like, I don't know, like I'm trying my best to not get caught too far up into this and just read it, but also he weaves in so many themes here. Like I'm already sensitive to the hot theme, right? And kind of what that
I have some comments about that this time. I was picking up here
a full, like my one word here is drinking.
Oh yeah, this is a Hemingway classic staple,
Hemingway
right? This is
classic.
You read any Hemingway, this comes up a lot. Like, I don't know how people physically do this. Like, this is
Yeah.
I think,
Yep.
like, there's a lot. There's a lot. And that comes back later too, at the towards the end here. But yeah, this is just kind of like, yeah, 19. They're just kind of like, yeah, is that the one? The summer went on that way.
The summer went
I do not remember much about the day.
Except
they were hot.
Hot. Okay. Yep. And
yeah, it's just this one is kind of like, yeah, it's just kind of like, what am I doing now? Because I'm hanging out here, and he doesn't really have anything to do because he's just sort of convalescing. So it's like kind of this strange mix of like waiting, right? It kind of goes back to that theme of waiting, because a lot of World War One is like waiting, right? Like the trenches and the stuff is just waiting. But now he's just waiting in Milan. Like, he can't really go anywhere, but he also can't really do anything, and he can't go back to the army yet because he's still broken, but he can't go anywhere else either because he has to go back to the hospital. Like, he's just kind of waiting around. Like,
yeah, because
so a lot of these chapters are just filled with like nothing, but it kind of it builds the like melancholy of of the whole story.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a good word to describe most of what's happening right now. It's just like melancholy.
Well, and really how they are in their, like, truly in their own little world of the war. What really is that? I experience it through newspapers because he's kind of okay, right? He's kind of on the way back of recovery. He's going through the motions here. They're just living this life, and it really is this like truly own little bubble, like escapism almost, of continue to live in their own version of reality, that there's no real consequences at this in these couple chapters and what we have been experiencing. It's like, one might almost, given some of the other themes that come up here, like it's almost this like honeymoon phase.
Kind of
like there's no really, we're just here and there's just time and where everyone's happy and we love each other, and right.
That's what he in this, like, I guess it's almost like a scene, right? It's kind of how I think about this is like, he goes and he's going back and he stops in at the thing and he meets just like those singers and the captain guy or whatever, and they just like start talking about stuff, and they're just kind of going on about their touring and they're singing for people, and they're giving him crap because he sings in Italian really bad. And they're like, yeah, he sings so bad they threw benches at him. Like, it's just
and then he says, yeah, the only thing I know how to say in Italian is throw benches.
Yeah, that's right. It's just like joking, and like they're giving him all kinds of grief, and he's like, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh yeah, the Americans are coming. He's like, yeah, but when? And why aren't you in the American army? He's like, I don't know. It's like, you want to join the American army? He's like, I don't know. You think they make me a captain? They're like, no. He's like, then forget about it. Like,
yes,
I don't.
Yeah, they're talking about like, yeah, it's just. Yeah, it is. There's just no, like, there's nothing at stake here, really. I mean,
there's like no stakes. It's just kind of.
It's all like, at this point, like specifically, even in this conversation, they're just like, how many awards have you got? It's all just kind of like fantastical. Mm-hmm. Like, I won it 5 times. Well, I got it 3 times, and my papers are coming in. Like, it's all kind of. There's no really purpose to this. Like, there's no reason behind this, and that word again, like that I kind of ran through a couple of times during this conversation of, this is just fantastical numbers and there's no, I don't know, it's only papers have only come through on 1 anyway. It's just very the melancholy. There's no purpose, kind of this world that's set away and apart from the destruction and terror that's actually going on.
Well, yeah, and that, like, later, like a couple pages later, because this is one of those chapters like quite long, but like not a lot's happening. But this exchange when he's talking to Catherine, right, about this, and again, we're just kind of in this thing, and blah blah blah. But she's talking about, how she doesn't really like all of these people, some of these certain people, and whatever. And he's what they're talking about here is, he was going to be a captain, and he's like, oh, that'll make him happy, blah, blah. And he says, wouldn't you like me to have some more exalted rank? She goes, no, I only want you to have rank enough that we're admitted to the better restaurants. Like, and he's like, well, that's the rank I have. Like, you see, you have a splendid rank.
Why you have a splendid rank.
It's fine.
Yes, that's just the rank I have.
I love this part. Like, it's so, like you said, it's just so like low stakes and like so much random weirdness that she's just like, yeah, I don't really care. I don't care about that. I just care about making sure that you're just high enough rank to get into good restaurants. Yep. He's like, well, I just so happen to have that rank. She's like, yeah, see? So it's fine. What are you worried about?
And then she's like, right. See, I'm so glad you're not conceited like the others and always after your rank. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like the other. Yeah, it's all play. It's nothing but play and make believe. And that is just leading through this. We're leading up into that. And I think chapter 19 is, well, it's kind of the last of their bubble that they get to live in, right?
Is it 19 or 20?
Well, yeah, because 19.
No, 20 is still that way too. Because 20 they go to the races.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. So we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost 20, to my point.
Well, because 20. So the other thing here is there's I don't really have a good sense of like time.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to,
and we're not supposed to, right? Because I don't know, but like 19 ends with her like it's raining, and she says, "I'm afraid of the rain," and it's like,
yes,
okay. Yes. Let's get. We know he's got some little night terrors here, and she's up there. What's the purpose of this? Kind of is there an allegory here of the rain? Like, what did you? What's that to you in this?
Well, I feel like, so based on some things that I want to talk about a little bit later,
sorry.
It's a good lead up. Like because rain means like change. Rain means because right now I feel like, well, I'll just go ahead and because the horse racing thing's lame. Later, right, it gets cold. Right. They start talking about the temperature changes. It gets cold. We'll get to the big change in their relationship. Right.
Yeah.
But so for me right now, like this heat, the hotness, like you've been talking about, it represents like the good times, the fun times, the carefree times,
the heat of the moment.
Whatever. Yeah. The heat of the moment. Right. But the rain is like a serious matter. The rain is a change. The rain is colder. The rain is harsher. The rain is something else. And when she says, like, she doesn't want to talk about it for a long time, and yes, tell me, don't make me, tell me, no, tell me, all right, I'm afraid of the rain because sometimes I see me dead in it, and sometimes I see you dead in it.
That's more likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think when I read this, obviously you have to read this at going, is she actually afraid of death, or is she afraid of the me and the you that they've created?
Yes.
Right? And that they have here?
Well, I think both.
Both.
Right. Because they are in a war.
Yes.
Right. But they are doing this play kind of weird. Relationship is weird. So unhealthy and bad. Like that's what any listeners who are listening to this, I need you to take away that if your relationship is like this, find counseling, seek help.
Yes.
Okay. Todd, this is bad. Okay, this is bad. This is the type of relationship that, like, I understand in like 2025, this, like, we put reality TV shows about this kind of stuff. This is bad. Okay. This is not good.
Yeah.
Very unhealthy stuff here. So that we leave on this like very dry, like crazy kind of like.
Well, he says, I comforted her and she stopped crying. In the last sentence of this, but outside it kept raining in both the literal and figurative sense of
yes,
the reality is coming.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing too. Again, with the rain, this is an abrupt end to the heat, an abrupt end to everything else that he's been describing. It's hot. Yeah. There's been no discussion of any kind of other weather here at all. It's just,
and we're working up to him. He's got to leave soon, right?
Yeah.
His time is running out of his convalescing healing time because they're just going to send him back to the front. So, they're trying to enjoy this hot summer carefree time as long as they can because it is coming crashing down in a hurry because he's going to get shipped out.
Because he's being better. Yeah. Yep. And then, and then even, then we get into chapter 20, which is kind of this weird, like, horse betting.
Again,
thing.
horse racing,
I don't
blah,
understand.
blah, blah. Like, I don't think it's chapter.
Whatever. But what's really, again, he does this. There's all this, like, going on. And then, like, the last page or two is really where, because here, like, when they get sucked off and everything's going on and Catherine's really overwhelmed. And she's overwhelmed by these other people and all this other stuff. And she just wants to be alone, but also be alone with him.
Yeah.
And this idea of when we're around other people, we're not in our bubble anymore. And there's also this, like, there's the people he knows that she has no connection to. So that's not in her world too. Right. And it's this, like, let's just stay the two of us and be here. That's how they finish it out, right? They finish it out by just being alone with them, trying to make the most of this, but also in, like, a serious level of denial about what's going on too.
Yes.
He said after we had been alone,
steeple chase.
You're awfully good to me. After there's more drinking in here too, like,
well, there's a lot.
Oh my gosh, like, all throughout here, like this, like chapter 20. What did I write down for this one? Let me see where my notes are in this. I tried to take notes.
That's all right.
I don't know.
I was going to bring up the drinking in chapter 22.
Oh,
but that's the so we can come back to it there.
No,
like,
it's fine. No, I just. I think it comes in more important later because we slam into 21.
Oh, and now here we go. In September, the first cool nights came. Then the days were cool, and the leaves on the trees in the park began to turn color, and we knew the summer was gone.
And
as we'll find out, quite literally and figuratively, both in just a couple pages here, right?
Yep. And that's what just a fantastic symbolism here, but also framing device for what's going on. The themes here of the changing of seasons, of almost like did you really think this would last? Like, these things come and go. Like, these are nothing but a season and a time. Like, what are you really thought this was going to go on forever in this perfect, weird utopian, thing? No, even in wonderful Mediterranean climates, like
Milan, right?
Yes, like, you're in Milan. You really thought? No, man. What he has, I'm going to say, statistically so far, some of the best one-line openings and closings to his chapters. Like, just like, my gosh.
Yeah. It's like, it'll slam you pretty good, right? Like,
yeah. Because this one, I started to highlight things along the lines of still showing Frederick's disconnection to the war. Because this starts off with him having a conversation with a British major saying 150,000 men had been lost, and another 40,000 on the Carso. And we had a drink and he talked. He's so, like, detached. That's not real. There's just all of this more killing. It's literally in front of him, and he's just drinking it away, right? This denialism that's coming in.
Well, I mean, even at the end of this conversation, he kind of brings it up because he says there was a great contrast between his world pessimism and personal cheeriness. Like,
yes. 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 Fantastic. Then cheerily, every sort of luck, right? Like,
yeah. That's crazy. So then he gets a haircut, goes do stuff, blah blah.
Good haircut.
We get back to the hospital and some letters are there, and we get that convalescence time is up. Right, convalescent leave started October 4th when my course was finished. 3 weeks was 21 days. That made October 25th. Right. So he's just casually dropped that in between lines of like, I got a letter from my grandfather, containing family news and patriotic encouragement.
Yes.
And $200. Like,
oh my gosh.
bang. But like, we have a deadline now, right? It's been kind of looming the whole time, right? Yeah. We've known that it's coming and we've known that this is happening, but boom, deadline time, right? There it is.
Yep. And he's
And some casual mention of Babe Ruth, just drop that in there randomly, which was kind of funny. Like
that just a little time drop here. Yeah. And here's where he's reading through all these papers. The papers were dull. The news was local and stale, and the war news was all old.
Yeah. But I read them all anyway.
Yep.
Like, that's basically what happened.
Yep. Yeah. And then he's having this debate as to whether they would still have baseball if America got involved. And he's like, yeah, there's racing in Milan. It could be much worse there.
That's true. Yeah. But we did forget to mention that like the racing in Milan was bad. And because it was like all just a bunch of other random horses from all over Europe that can't race in France. And like they just come to Milan and it's just rife with cheating. And it's lame. And like,
yeah, it's so bad that apparently one of the horses, they used to dye horses different colors so that you didn't know it was a horse that had been a part of cheating or was used in some other thing. And of course, the one that
they tried to like hold him back and like not let him run, but the jockey couldn't control him, and he like beat every horse by like 1 billion miles. Like,
yes,
ridiculous.
And then he said, "I hope his colors don't run before they can get paid." Get paid. Oh, okay. Anyway. He's talking about horse, and Catherine was coming in, and what was her opening line?
I'm
late.
I'm late. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot to do. How are you? So yeah, they're just talking, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, what was the matter? Nothing. Nothing's the matter. Yes, there is. No, nothing. Really nothing. I know there's something. Tell me. No. This again, the same conversation. No, tell me. No, yes, no, tell me. No. Do I have to? Yes.
Do I have to? Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So after this like whole page of that, it's, do I have to? Yes. I'm going to have a baby, darling. But I'm almost 3 months along. You're not worried, are you? Please don't. You mustn't worry.
And he says, all right. And she's like, is it all right? Of course. Yeah.
But so again, honeymoon period over officially, right? We have 2 date deadlines now.
And I think it's very telling here where Frederick is both, he doesn't like freak out about the news, but also he's not like, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. I can't wait. It's just this constant passive, his passive nature is like, just like, okay, well, we'll just, okay, like that's just what it is. Okay, here's where we go. Like, it's very interesting to watch this unfold. She's obviously, freaking out, hysterical, unsure of the future. Again, responsibility has come crashing into this, and it's just how off balance their responses are to this.
Yeah, it's very a jarring conversation here, where like it's not great, right? And he's trying to remain just kind of like, oh yeah, okay, it'll be fine, don't worry. And she's like, what do you mean it'll be fine? She's like, no, it's fine. People do this all the time. They have a baby in a war. He's like, okay, not that, but they still have babies, so it's fine. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So they're it's rough.
Yeah. And he's got this line in here where Catherine, after she sits on the bed, says, we were apart as when someone comes into a room and people are self-conscious. Because,
yeah.
my gosh, both of them are suddenly self-conscious of actions and responsibilities and duties and reality now, and their own course in that, and their own responsibility, like their own deeds in getting there, and yet quickly, like it's like then there's like, are you angry? No. Do you feel trapped? Maybe a little, but not by you, right? And we keep coming back. We're pulling this in here, and then it's they get this chapter ends by them getting pulled back into their same illusion, right? Like they are just, nope, like that's fine. It'll be the same as it always is. It's the same as always is going to be, and everything's going to be okay. And when they're talking in that way, it really is like we just want to have this sliver of a moment without any other implications or any future, really. Like we're not going to plan for the future. We're not going to worry about all that. It's just here and now, and that's what every day is going to be. In their delusion, right?
Yeah, like it's pretty bad. They start talking about the conversation goes all weird. They start talking about like bravery and all stuff, and it's like, she says, "You're brave." He goes, "No, you're brave," and she goes, "No," she said, "but I would like to be." "I'm not," I said. "I know where I stand. I've been out long enough to know." They make some weird baseball analogy, right?
Oh, right.
About this.
Yes.
She didn't quite understand that because I keep forgetting she's like Scottish, right? So she doesn't know what's happening.
Yes.
But, I'm like a baseball player who bats .230. And she's like, "Isn't that good?" He's like, "Not really." Mediocre at best.
But still a hitter.
But still a hitter. So I guess we're both conceited, I said. "But you are brave." "No." And she repeats, "No, but I hope to be." And then, coping mechanism time. "We're both brave," I said. "And I'm very brave when I've had a drink." Oh, dear. Yep.
Oh,
here it is.
Here it is. Oh, and the armoire and the cognac.
Yeah.
We have.
Comes out here. Yeah, so they just she fixes him a little drink, or two, or three, maybe. I reached down from the floor for the bottle and poured another drink. Oh, dear.
Oh, that was very big. Yeah. It's like, yep, I know brandy is for heroes, but you shouldn't exaggerate. Again, this flattery, this, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's kind of where we leave it. 22, right? Yeah, 22. Bang. Again, it turned cold that night, and the next day it was raining. Again. Oh, dear. Yeah.
Again.
This week is busted, right? Like, busted, right? His gauge comes in, right? They looked at his eyes, and the whites of the eyes were yellow, and it was the jaundice. I was sick for 2 weeks with it. For that reason, we did not spend a convalescent leave together. We had planned to go to Palazzo.
Yep.
On the Lago Maggiore. It's nice there in the fall when the leaves turn, but they couldn't go because he has jaundice because he's drank too much. Right?
Yep.
And then Miss Van Campen comes in, right? One day while I was in the bed with jaundice, Miss Van Campen came in the room, opened the door of the armoire, and saw the empty bottles. He had already tried to get them smuggled out by the porter because he just keeps leaving them in there, right?
Yes.
And just keeps adding them more, right? And this again, this is where we see the true level of what he's doing, like self-medicating this depression that he's in, right? We can see the extreme nature that's been happening, right? He's sitting around, he's got nothing to do, all he's doing is thinking about going back to the front, and now he's added on this like baby situation, and he's just like, he's self-medicating, right? And it's gone quite poorly. He's given himself jaundice, which, on a side note, made me think about Catch-22 again, because because Yossarian always says, because he doesn't want to fight, he goes to the thing and he says, like, "I have a little bit of jaundice," and they can't prove that he doesn't have jaundice, so they don't discharge him. He's like, "I said I have jaundice, so I must have jaundice, but they can't prove I don't have jaundice, so I can't leave." Haha. Got him. So this made me laugh about that. But yeah, she thinks that he's done it on purpose, so he doesn't have to go. And he's like, no, I didn't do it on purpose. Like, would you want to do this on purpose? This does not feel great. I don't think you.
Oh my gosh.
Like, have you ever had jaundice? I don't think you would. I don't believe self-inflicted jaundice entitles you to convalescent leave. He's like, have you ever had jaundice? It's not fun.
Yeah. Yep. Miss Van Camp had left the room after he's going through this conversation. And
yeah, because he's being super hateful. Yep. But again, he's in pain, and also he's just a jerk anyway. So like, there's that.
And again, if drinking really is a coping mechanism here, and it's an attempt to have him exert control over situations. The futility of that is being pointed out by Van Campen here, right? This is it being literally the door is flung open for all the world to see what's going on. Because sure, we know he's drinking a lot, but like this, I think really puts it into context of literally just how much he's drinking and like how bad it is for him, and to have it now thrown open and he's like, oh no, literally. It's full. Like, yeah. And this is after a porter already took some bottles down, right?
Yeah.
After some have been gone. To have it just shown, like, this is what we're dealing with here. Like, so he's obviously a little sensitive about that too, of having this pointed out and having this potentially be taken away. But yeah, Miss Gage comes in and she tries to help him out.
Yeah, because she's, trying to be, she's nice to him, tries to be his friend, right? If we think back a few chapters ago, when she brought that up, she's like, I'm your friend, And he's like, yeah, I know. She's like, no, you don't, but you will. Like, so we're kind of seeing her again, kind of exert that. And she's like, yeah, I'll try to help you out. But Van Campen comes back in and with the porter, and they take the bottles down and show them to the doctor.
Nothing changed, but
nothing changed. Yeah. She went down the hall. The porter carried the sack. He knew what was in it. Nothing happened except that I lost my leave. So it's the whole big to do about nothing, right? Like, this next one though, wonky again. 23, right? This is like the night, right? The night I was to return to the front, I sent the porter down to hold a seat for me in the train, right? So he's getting ready to leave. So this is like him and Catherine's last time together.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of go out, right? And he's like, oh, it's this kind of weird world they live in, because he's like, yeah, we should go do this thing, and they're going looking and shopping, and he's like, oh yeah, I gotta buy a gun, by the way, because mine's gone. Somebody took it, so I have to.
Yeah. Again, this gradual reentry of reality here, of what's about to come, what has to happen. He has to start preparing for this inevitability. And it's interesting because in the beginning of this, it talked about how he and those in the town thought wearing the gun was ridiculous, and he hated it and so he never wore it around, right?
Yeah, they just walked around with empty holsters, or they stuffed them with paper.
Exactly, right? And,
it won't do to carry a gun around in a town to remind everybody the war's going on. Like, they clearly know, but
and he thought himself a fool doing it too, because he thought it was all an act and this all like this big like pomp and circumstance kind of thing or whatever. And now he's going, well, that's got to come back in, right? So I just thought it was interesting how that was a thought in his head, when previously it was like he wanted he didn't want it around at all, but here we have it. Nope, we've got to have
it now, because I'm going somewhere where I'm going to need it.
Yes.
So, just went in there and bought it, and with extra stuff and everything. And I do like how he just threw the holster. He's like, it's got to fit in there. What do you got? Give me something that fits in there.
That was great.
I was like, I don't really care what it is. It just has to fit in there. So just give it to me.
Yeah.
And she keeps trying to sell him stuff. It's like, oh, what about a lanyard? And he's like, yeah, no, I don't need that. She's like, you need a whistle. No. I'm just like, do you need a sword? He's like, no, I don't need a sword. I don't get.
yeah, because he
Not an
said, "Do you need a
officer,
sword?"
right? Those are
Well,
officers'
and
things, right?
specifically, he says, "I'm going to the front." And she's, "Oh yes, then you won't need a sword."
You won't need a sword.
Yeah, yeah.
But she really wanted to sell him more stuff. And he's like, I felt bad, but I didn't need anything. So I ran away. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, then like she's not feeling good again. So they just walk around and, they're trying to make the most of this last night. Like they want to have, like they want this to be like a carefree night, like
Oh,
back in the summer, but like,
oh yes.
it's not it, right? They're trying to make it like light and carefree and fun and have the last night with the girl and blah blah, but nah, it's really not doing it for like they're like, we're gonna
No.
go to a hotel and blah blah blah, and they even buy her a little nightgown thing, and yeah, no, they just no, they just go to the hotel. They know the guy, of course. He lets him in the room for a while. And they just kind of sit around and talk and drink some wine. And then he's like, well, I gotta go. Like,
Well, is this where they talk? Does she talk about? Hold on. Is this where she talks about again the insistence that they are married at this point?
yeah,
Too?
she brings it up again too. Yeah, here.
Right, right. Again, this where she is trying to have this somewhat level of permanence. Again, this somewhat re-exerting her reality over this of going. But again, it's like you can't make can't be much more made up and make believe than insisting you are something that you just aren't, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that her delusion in that and insistent to like, no, that's what this is. We are married. This is a part of our honeymoon, whatever. It's like, but how flat that falls in this new context of what's actually going on. Like, sure, 3 months ago sounded fine, probably, right? Like that was pretty cool, pretty fun and whatever. But now it's like, oh, you just see how ridiculous that actually sounds in what's actually happening.
Yeah. Oh, it's really weird too. Here's the thing I was talking about. So when they're I couldn't find the page. When they're at the gun shop, right before they leave, they're like the woman said goodbye. We went out to the sidewalk. Catherine looked in the window, and the woman looked out and bowed to us. And then there's just like this little throwaway sentence here. What are those little mirrors set in the wood for? They're for attracting birds. They twirl them in the field, and the larks come, and the Italians shoot them. Right. And then when we're in the hotel room, right, because this is kind of like not a reputable hotel, best.
Specifically,
right,
he says, I don't know how a room like this would be for waking up in the morning.
Yes, he does. Yes, they kind of bring that up. Like this was the only hotel they could get into, and they're like, "Could we go there?" Like they wouldn't have let us in there. Because again, the context here is they're only expecting to spend a few hours together. Wink, wink, and nudge, nudge. But like they talk about the mirrors are a nice touch, right? And how shiny they are. And it's like this weird, like for pulling in and attracting because it's like shiny and whatever, but actually it's something else, right? It's like an illusion of something.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're in this hotel room and they're trying to share this illusion of something that's just not there. Right. So that's the weird part here too. They kind of it's weird that he is like comparing this kind of hotel room, this like lover's hotel room, to a decoy to shoot birds. Right? It both like sort of allure and like a lie, right? Almost like a covering up of what it really is. Like I can't think of my brain turned off there for a second. Sorry about that.
Right.
But like,
yeah,
it's like misrepresenting the truth. Like it's not a real thing. It's a decoy, right? It's not the real thing. It's like a fake, right? It's like faking something. And so the way that he kind of juxtaposes those next to each other is very odd. And like you're like, man, this is good.
Yeah. Well, and amongst that, like you do have Frederick at least trying to like all this make believe stuff, like you said, all this flashiness, all this attractive stuff. Like that's what they've built up around this. But right here at the end of the chapter, you also him where he says, the waiter came back, took away things. After a while, we were very still and we could hear the rain. Oh, they're hearing it. It's actually like around them. Down below on the street, a motor car honked. And he says, but at my back, I always hear Time's winged chariot hurrying near. I said, I know that poem. Catherine said, it's by Marvell, but it's about a girl who wouldn't live with a man. And then my head felt very clear and cold, and I wanted to talk facts.
Yeah.
Of like, no, like there are, at least he's realizing at this, like there is a conversation that we do need to have before I disappear for a long time and maybe never come back. Like that he just wants to know, amongst all this make-believe stuff, amongst everything that we've just kind of built around us, there are facts to be had right now. And I thought that was an interesting thing where it said, again, my head was I wasn't hot, right? Clear and cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wanted facts.
Yeah. They talk about writing, and he's like, well, don't like write explicitly. Got to be a little bit weird because they don't read English great, but you can't just like come out and say it because the censors will read the stuff. And she's like, okay, I'll make it confusing. He's like, just a little, don't confuse, don't mess with me. All right, don't do that. And then we have this, like, again, this like make believe time, right? I hate to leave our fine house. So do I, but we have to go. All right, but we're never settled in our home very long. We will be. I'll have a fine home when you come back. Maybe I'll be back right away. Perhaps you'll just be hurt a little in the foot, or maybe the earlobe. No, not your ears. I like them the way they are, and not my feet. You've already been hit in the feet. Well, I do have to go. Like,
yep.
Like this again, this play kind of like this is what she was thinking about, like her first man's, right? Like, oh, had this when they first met back at the front, when she's talking about, she had this romantic idea of like just he was like lightly wounded, right? Yeah. Just like a wee little bit of wounding, right? And like just goes in and we'll just convalesce in the hospital, and I'll just like dab his cut and everything will be fine, right? She's trying to this is her coping mechanism because she's already been through this before, right? And almost again with him, and so her coping is like, oh yes, everything will be fine, and if you do get hurt, it'll just be like a wee little bit of hurting, and don't worry about it. And this is her way of dealing with that thing. And so he's just like, yep, gotta go.
Well, and again, and that statement of we'll have to leave our fine little home here, when we just set up like neither of them thought it was all that great to begin with.
Yeah.
Right? And that it was only temporary. And this like, well, we've certainly built a fine temporary meaningless, facade of a life, haven't we? It's time to go. Right.
Yeah. I think facade is a good word here.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what they're trying to paint over. Like they're just not accepting the reality of the situation, and they're just looking at what they want to see. Right. Yeah. It's just like set dressing, right? Like a play where the outside looks good, but the backside is just plywood and nails. Right. Like there's no structure here. It can just fall over in any second.
Yeah, and it's really not meant for anything but to look at, and but it's not useful in anything. It doesn't withstand what's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the next chapter, they go downstairs and it's raining, and they get her out to the thing. He pays, right? Because they were like, they weren't going to let him pay at the beginning, but made sure the porter stayed around so he'd pay when he left.
Yep.
Which is funny. But they get her in the carriage and get her sent back to the hospital. They just kind of are goodbye, just wave, goodbye. And boom, She smiled and waved. The carriage went up the street. Catherine pointed in towards the archway, and I looked. There were only 2 Carabignari in the archway. I realized she meant for me to get out of the rain. I went and stood and watched the carriage turn the corner. And then I started through the station and down the runway to the train.
In the rain.
Yeah. Rain. And he goes down to the train, and the people that he had waiting for him, right? He finds them and they get on the train. He goes and sits down, and there's a dude there that's like super mad about it, right? He's like super grumpy. He's like, you can't do that. He's like, I did. What are you going to do? Right? You can't do that, he said. You can't have a soldier save your place. I have done it. What do you mean I can't? I clearly can because I just did. Loser, what do you want? And so,
seat, right?
Yeah, you have no right to do that. I was here 2 hours before you came. What do you want? The seat. So do I. And so he just kind of went like that. Whatever. Sit down, Captain. And he just walks off. He's like, fine, whatever. I don't care. I'm not dealing with you. I've got enough trouble to deal with right now. Whatever. I don't care. So he just goes back to the train. And they're like, well, maybe some will get off at Brescia. He's like, more will get on at Brescia.
More.
It's fine. So he just goes back. He's like, they both felt bad, but I, said it was not their fault. Whatever. They got on the train. They were standing room only. He just kind of walks to the back in some little spot, and it was still raining, and soon the windows were wet and you could not see out. Later, I slept on the floor in the corridor. First, putting my pocketbook with my money and papers inside my shirt. I like how we just throw that in there. Like, I didn't just sleep. I was, I know what's up. But then you just sleep. You just lay down and sleep on the floor. He's like, I had my head on one of my musettes and my arm around the other, and I could feel the pack, and they could walk over me if they wouldn't step on me. Men were sleeping on the floor all over the corridor. Others stood holding onto the window rods or leaning against the doors. The train was always crowded, right? It's like,
yeah,
this kind of like, yeah, I know, like it's crowded all the time. There's no stopping this war machine.
Yep.
Right? There's just always people coming and going all the time.
Again,
forever. It's just eating people up, and there's really nothing to do about it. It just keeps grinding on.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yep.
And he just goes to sleep on the floor.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, just this a couple things for this one of the crowdedness, a little bit more of the oppressive surrounding nature. You can't get away from this. It's here. Also, his sleeping arrangements of to have his own, his own room by himself. Well, with Catherine, and it was all kind of set up, and he just has to curl up and get sucked back into this now, right? He's just like on his way to go out, and it's what 24 hours will do for a man's life for sure.
Oh yeah, it's rough. It's a rough transition too. It's interesting transition from kind of the plush aesthetic opulence of the hotel, where it's not
even
like
though it was fake.
It's not like
right,
yeah,
like,
even though it's fake, right? It's like it's aesthetically nice, not like substantive, but it's very pleasing to look at. So we go right from there to the floor of a train, right? Like 30 minutes ago, he was laying on a bed in an over plush red velveted mirrored room. Again, it's the visual of this room that I have in my brain is quite hideous. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm like overdoing it, right? But it's just like dark wood paneling and like red crushed like velvet everywhere with like mirrors and windows. It's just not pleasant, right? Not a pleasant looking place. But to go from that to the floor of a train with dudes just like literally stepping over.
Yeah, it really is like,
and also the juxtaposition here of like being alone with one person, right? And being like being like the whole world to something, right? Like it's just a small moment where you're important and you're at least with somebody who cares about you, and the next visual is alone on a train full of people that can't be bothered, that can barely be bothered to even step over you. Right? Just like a cog in the machine of like, you're not important. Right. So from going to being the most important person to somebody to like literally no one cares that you're even here again in like 30 minutes of time frame basically is jarring.
Yeah.
For the reader and for him. I mean, it's supposed to be for us, but like for him.
Yeah, and how much more of a dramatic way to be ripped out of that fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Because of those moments of, sure, there, you have to say, like, Catherine and Frederick's love, like, it's real within the context of their fantasy.
Yeah.
Built, right?
They have real feelings. They have real feelings. Also real weird feelings, but like there are substantive again.
It is,
right?
It is of a kind.
But,
and to now you're like, that, like you said, like to now go from that into there's no feelings, you are kind of meaningless in a very intentional way to the war machine, to what is going on here. You are just supposed to show up and die basically, and that is what he's sleeping into now. And we close out book 2.
Yeah. Kablam.
Oh, that was a chapter.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's not getting better. So like
no, because now he goes. Now we have a man with horrible coping strategies. Going back into a place where he is apathetic about, was actively trying to keep at arm's length at all times, and it's worse now.
Yes, like
it's worse. So yeah, I'm sure again it'll just loop around and we'll pull ourselves up out of this one.
Yeah, no.
It won't. Yeah. So this next chapter is a bit longer than the other ones when we jump into book chapter 25, but we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, well, I want to mention that briefly here. That so I was just doing some checking, right? So there, first of all, there are 5 books in total, so we're doing good here. But this one, book 3, shorter, but the chapters seem to be longer. So like there's 8 chapters in book 3, but some of them are like way longer. So you just want to do you want to still do like 4 and 4?
I think we'll do 4 and 4. I like the cadence of that, of splitting, trying to split the book.
Kind of in half, right?
In half, yeah.
But I think it's 8 chapters. I think it goes like 32.
Okay.
So I think it's 25 to 32, but some of them are quite lengthy.
Yeah.
So I think in order to like be able to digest them slightly, I think I was going to suggest 4 and 4.
Yes.
And then we'll see what happens with book 4.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
All right.
That also is another interesting device in writing too, of we had these real short, brief chapters, and now these long slogs. So I'm interested to see how that is used in the storytelling as well.
I think there's 1 or 2 shorter chapters in there, right? Because he seems to do that, right? There'll be a chapter that's like, they're not long chapters. In my book, in my printed book, which again, it's a collected volume, so it's kind of smaller print a little bit. It's not like a big, it's not too bad. There'll be, maybe 3 or 4 pages in a chapter, and then there'll be a chapter that's like a page and a half, and then like, so it's already kind of like that. So, but yeah, some of these look a little bit longer. So I think, it probably means we're in for something terrible, I would imagine. So we'll get.
Well, So we'll do 4 next time. 35 through 32. Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
Okay. Well, to hopefully pick us up here, and end on a upswing, a high note. I have an haiku. That I remembered this morning. So. Climbing mountain peaks. casting nets for hidden clues. Treasures shine below.
Yes. Let's go. All right.
Man. I had for a split second, I was going to try and download the emulator for it. And I decided that I had other things to do with my day. So I didn't, but it's still on my list.
But maybe next time, though. So we'll see.
Time. Do a review.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Yes.
Oh,
beautiful.
Man. Okay. Well, stay healthy, stay well, stay.
Heck yeah. I'm staying inside. I'm not going nowhere.
And we will do this again soon.
Yeah.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.